Well, I thought it was a good weekend of hockey. I mean, obviously playing a really good team, and I thought the first night on the road, I thought really liked our start. I thought we got to our game right off the bat. I thought in the second, we had about a 3 or 4 minute stretch there. I thought we were really good and really leaned on them. We didn't end up in the back of the net, and it's a tight game. And obviously they tied it up and won it in overtime. And I thought a good response by our team. I thought again we started really well. Obviously special teams was really critical, and I thought the crowd was really into it and loud. And there's a couple times there were some whistles and you couldn't hear the whistle, so that's a great sign for our program. And then obviously we got Minnesota coming in this weekend, who's you look at their roster and how well they are coached. A really tough test for our team, but one we're looking forward to.
Yeah, obviously it's still a little ways to go, but how critical is this series for trying to defend them, winning the Big Ten for a second straight year? And would you learn from that first series against them?
Yeah, they're, obviously a really, really good team. There's, you look at the depth they have. You look at, I think their back end is as good as you're going to find in the country. And they got some game breakers up and down their lineup. They got a lot of depth of scoring. And, I think we went out there and, we tied a game and ended up winning in a shootout and had a good stretch where we played good for about 3-4 minutes, really good hockey, and found a way to win a hockey game on the road. And, I think regardless of what happens, this is what you want for your team. You want to play in games that mean something. You want to play quality opponents. And regardless of what happens on it, we got to keep growing as a team. And, I thought we grew last weekend, and there's some pain in growing, but another opportunity to do that this weekend.
Adam, how does the dynamic change when you face a team back-to-back nights for the second time? Like some of the old, whatever carries over from the first series, is that there? How is a series different, especially when there's something at stake when you faced them before?
Yeah, I think with our conference, right? We only got 7 teams in it, right? So you see the same teams four times, and fairly recently we played them, and I think they would have a good feel for who we are. We'd have a good feel for who they are, but I don't know how much carries over from series to series. I think it's once you start it, it's a new series, a set of games, and again, I think they're a team that can tax you on both sides of the puck. Like I think they get a ton of credit for how they are offensively, but they're as good as it is at defending too. So that'll be a really tough test for our group. But this is what you want. You want to play in these games and meaningful games and good opponents and see where your team's at.
Adam, I'm curious. When you look, obviously, outside looking in at Minnesota, it seems like every year they just reload, and they're always this power in the Big Ten. And I'm curious, what's your take on that? Why do you think that is? And then also, do you have a timeline on Red's injury?
For sure, the tradition they have there, right? You look at all of the schools in our conference, right? There's hockey powers there, and then you look at their location in the state of Minnesota, right? And I can remember living there, and when I coached at Shattuck, and a lot of the kids there dream about being a Gopher, and so they do a heck of a job. They got their challenge is picking the right ones, right? They like a lot of kids want to go there, and but I think that stems back to the history, the tradition. You see their rink, their fan base. It's a rabid fan base, and as far as Red, he's we're still talking to doctors and that, and at the end of the day, we'll find something out here sooner than later. But I think he's got to make a decision here on not just for our team, but more importantly for himself, right? He's done a heck of a job as our captain, and he's still talking to some doctors and figuring out what exactly needs to be done to again make a decision that's best for him.
Hey, Coach, the rink over there is obviously a little bit bigger. Stylistically, do you expect any play style changes kind of with them coming here?
No, I think they, they shrunk it a little bit. It's still a little bit bigger than an NHL sheet, but relatively close. And I didn't feel like it was any different when we went out there. I thought it felt like we were playing on a regulation sheet. So no, and I think they play half their games, and they've been a team that's been really good on the road too. So they are who they are, and they're a really good hockey team, and that's what we expect this weekend.
Coach, in losing Red, what have you kind of seen from all the guys? Obviously, Carson had said earlier, he's still very vocal, still around the rink, but what have you seen from the guys, especially in the game, playing without their captain? How have guys kind of stepped up, talked more on the bench, and really filled that role with him not playing.
Yeah, I think Red's done a great job of staying engaged with the team. That's not easy, but I think it's important for him too. And recovering, right? You do so much, you spend so much time at the rink to just cut that off is it's probably not healthy either, right? And he's a big part of our team. And still think he can be our leader, even though he's not in the locker room, right? There's, we're here at the rink and training and that, but there's time away from the rink and being a good example and encouraging guys. I talked to Red about that too. Like he's got an opportunity here of watching the games and encouraging guys if they're going through a hard time or whatever. And but I think we got a really good leadership group, and even a guy like Nick Andrews, right? He's been around the block, and he's really earned our guys' respect. And so we're gonna have to lean on those guys with Red out, but we got full confidence those guys will do a great job.
Adam, if I could follow up what you said about Minnesota and tradition, I'm curious with your program. Obviously, there were some lean years in kind of the 2010s era with Michigan State, but you've got a Big Ten regular season title, tournament title, and you're trending in a positive direction this season. I'm curious, where do you think the tradition of this program is at right now?
I mean, I think when you step back and look at the national championships, Frozen Fours, NHL players, All-Americans, all-league players, regular season conference, we really think we're one of those programs that's at the top, and not saying we are the top, but I think when you look at all those different things, you look at our fan base. I mean, you can't get a ticket now to come watch our games. So we're excited about it. I think there's the tradition here is special, and our job is to kind of get it back going, and we feel like we're heading in that direction for sure. But I mean, I'm super proud and to represent our university, and we're confident in putting our tradition up against anyone's.
I believe this is the first time since early December you guys have 2 home games in the same weekend. How does that help with prep in terms when you don't have to travel or anything like that?
Yeah, we've had our schedule the way it kind of. I think we ended up playing 10 of the last 12 on the road, or what ended up being 11 or 14. I forget what the breakdown is, but a lot of games on the road, and that's good for our group, right? Is you got to be able to know how to play on the road and play in tough environments, but it's also Mun's been really good to us, and the crowd's been awesome. It's played a huge factor in us trying to turn around the program, and we need them to be loud. We need them to be into it, and our guys also understand that's not a given. You got to give them something to cheer about, and the puck's not always going to go in the back of the net, but I think we have a really smart fan base, and they recognize a good back check, a good block shot, a good penalty kill, a solid effort on a play, a loose puck, and that really helps get our guys going. So we're looking forward to I think we only got five home games here left, and trying to take advantage of it.
Coach, earlier you mentioned Nick Andrews. He's currently second in the conference, a +20 rating. What have you really seen from him? Because he's really been able to produce, help out his teammates on the ice, and really helps kind of fill that void in a pretty young blue line when you lost Nash and Artie.
Yeah, no, he's done a great job, and I think Nick's one of those guys, the more you're around him, the more you like him as a player, right? He does a lot of simple things that help you win hockey games, and I look how well David Gucciardi's playing, and Nick's his partner, and that's the old adage with Nick Lidstrom, right, who was the second best defenseman on the ice, whoever Nick's partner was, and I think that Nick Andrews has done a great job of playing with poise, and again, he's got leadership qualities, big time. Fortunate we have him. He's made a big impact on our team.
Adam, kind of a weird schedule, like a 6-week stretch starting with the championship game of the GLI. Is it kind of like playoff hockey, and do you like that to get you ready for the postseason?
It is, yeah. No, I think, we talked to our group about that. Even you turn the TV on, watch the NHL right now, it's a different league than it is at the start of the year, right? And so everyone's kind of cranking up for playoffs, and we got 10 games left here until that time of year. And so, yeah, you don't want to wait to start playing that way, and points mean so much in every game. And it's great for our guys, and we want to keep focusing on us and improving. But it is pretty cool when the league cranks up, you find out what you got.
Wondering about this winter. I mean, you're looking at the rankings across the board. I mean, you got a number of different sports that are ranked. Obviously, you guys are up there at the top, basketball. What has that vibe been like internally between the coaches and between the athletes on the teams, and are you sensing a difference maybe over the course of the last 2-3 years with the fans with every sport?
Yeah, there's a big time excitement with the direction of our athletic department. When it starts at the top, I think Alan does a great job, and and I think Tom is, loses himself in the university, right? So it's I talked to him after their game against Illinois. I thought that was one of the best games I've watched. That felt like a tournament game, and his leadership within the coaching ranks at our university is big time, and so I think everyone looks up to him, and he's kind of the guiding light of he's a team guy, he's a humble guy, he doesn't make it about himself, and I think when you have someone of that caliber, or, that makes a big impact on the rest of the coaches, and it's pretty easy to follow suit.
Coach, there's a saying that, championship teams get better as the year goes on. The team definitely did this last year. From the Lake State Series to now, where do you think the biggest growth has been? And also in the final 10 games here, where do you want to see the next jump to get to that and obviously defend the title?
Yeah, the guys have done a great job. I think that's always been the focus, right? Every weekend we want to try to get better. Doesn't mean you're going to win every game, but I think we've been more consistent. We knew coming in we were young, right? We were the youngest team in our conference, and with that though, you got a pretty high ceiling, and so I think for us it's just controlling the game for 60 minutes, right? And I think we've yet to do that for a full 60, but I think our effort's been really good, and we're working towards that, and that's what you want as your team. You want to be consistent, right? You don't want the ups and downs, and I think if you look at our team from the start of the year, I mean, I would say that's one of the things we've done really well is you know what you're going to get, how the team's going to play, how each individual is going to play and what they're going to give our team, and I just think trying to continue to master that, right? Try to get to a full 60 of really controlling it. I think our special teams have taken a step here recently, and Jared DeMichael does a great job with the penalty kill, and Townsy and Fasty with the power play. So, we haven't had a ton of opportunities on the power play, but I think when we get on there, whether we score or not, we're pretty dangerous, and we're going to need that down the stretch.
Yeah, Coach, can you maybe just briefly touch on Will's, effect on the program and maybe what makes him separated from different strength coaches?
Yeah, he's been awesome. I mean, I've known Will, right? We worked together with the national team, and when I got the opportunity here to bring him, and he's the best strength coach I've been around. I've worked at every league, pretty much every level, and he's just got a unique ability to connect with the guys and make it hard. Our guys love being in the weight room. They really respect him. On off days when he's in here, if they're doing recovery and guys want to do recovery, he's in here meeting them. And I just think he knows how to identify, work with hand in hand with the coaching staff of, what guys need to keep working on. It can't just be a one size fits all. We got some guys that need strength, some guys that need quickness, some guys that need power, and making sure that we target the right things. And I think he's brilliant with that. And I think, when you talk about strength and conditioning and college athletics with some of the rules, he's actually allowed to be around our players more than we are, and so you really need someone there that understands the culture that this program is, and he definitely embodies that.
And I'm curious, in your sport, you just play twice a week, usually Friday and Saturday. It's a lot of practices compared to some other sports. Does that help you improve your team, or is it a challenge as a staff to make challenges interesting and productive?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we believe is our bread and butter is practice, right? Is that we think that practice is like your homework, and the games are the test, and you get smarter when you do the homework, and the tests are to figure out what you need to keep working on, and we try to maintain that approach throughout the year. We're not a taper it back program, and we talked to our guys about that, the start of the new year here, right? It's January, February, and March are critical for your development. It's not time to pull back. We got to keep pushing, and your body's capable of more than you think, and now you got to do the right things away from the rink. You got to go to bed at the right time. You got to eat the right way. Make sure you're on top of school so you're not bogged down when you get to the rink and you can focus on hockey. And but yeah, I think our guys have done a great job of buying in to how hard we need to practice to be the team we dream about being. And we're still not there yet, and so we're going to still continue to practice hard. But I think it's recruiting the right kids that are into that, right? We say that when we recruit. Like if you're just kind of into hockey, this place would be miserable for you. If you're a hockey junkie, you would love it, And so we ask a lot of our guys. We also provide a lot to them. They earn it. But I think our guys enjoy being at the rink. That's one of the things I've loved about being here. We got to pull guys off the ice. There's guys, their tails are wagging. The best part of the day is at the rink, and it is hard. I think the Kriegers had said that to me. Our first year, they've never worked harder, but never had more fun. And I think that's our goal as a coaching staff, right? Is we want to make sure the guys are excited about being at the rink every day.